Camera on me, OT, baby. Let's get started because this was a really fun show because, you know, it's holiday kind of thing, and we had a chance to kind of look back at a few things going on, and Chris Darwalt reminded us that it's only been a month of this very new administration.
We are a microwave popcorn culture, aren't we? We want it now. We want it immediately. Everything.
Myself
has to be
being the worst of that.
It is.
I'm just like, I want it instantaneously.
And don't cook microwave popcorn in the office. The thing I want America to know: do not cook microwave. You may not cook fish in the office. You must not also cook microwave.
So
popcorn
can I
cook fish in the microwave?
I have an issue with that in the morning, working really early hours for the last more than 7 years. People who heat up their dinner from the night before at like 6 a.m.
These people are the history's most terrible monsters.
I don't need to smell like lentil curry from last night at 6 a.m.
Hard pass.
But that can be very delicious at the right time.
I just don't want to smell it.
But breakfast time. You know, if you could share with us, though, you and Chris Darwalt were having a conversation about where y'all are from.
It was it's different. So Chris is a hillbilly. And I'm a redneck.
And I'll check the internet.
What's the difference?
Okay.
So hillbilly is you are from
West Virginia.
Right. And I'm a redneck because I'm not from the mountains. I'm from kind of the flatlands of Virginia.
So we would say if we were going to make one, it's interesting. We were talking about the Lord's Prayer, and there's a good example about this in that Presbyterians say
who you are.
Right. I wore
like the way she says that?
I were one, and now I are an Anglican, I think, which is a strange experience for me.
Really? You go to the Episcopal Church?
No, Anglican Church, which is a difference.
That's even weirder.
It's even weirder. That is, which fits me because I'm pretty weird. But
do you still go to the Anglican Church?
I
love the prayer book.
I recently started about a year ago.
I love the Anglican prayer book.
And it's a great church in Washington. I'm totally thrilled with it. And my sons love the education, and it's a great church. But the Presbyterians, in their recitation of the Lord's Prayer, which is of course taken from a couple of different places in the New Testament, but in the Presbyterians' recitation of it, they say, "Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors," as opposed to saying trespasses and trespassers. Right. So most of the people that we would now lovingly call your people rednecks are Baptists.
Yeah, I'm Baptist.
Or Episcopalians, and this is coastal United States South. Hillbillies generally are descendants of Scots-Irish immigrants to the United States.
I'm Scots-Irish, but Baptist.
Ooh,
there you go.
There you go.
So I'm from Southside, Virginia anyway. But Baptist is you just sit in the pew, there's no prayer book, and somebody preaches at you for an hour or 3 and tells you that if you don't,
but you get a break
might
and then
be
you
going
come back.
to hell.
And I always love the Baptists because they take a break and then they come back for more church. They take a lunch break and then they come back for more church and then they come back on Wednesday.
Yeah, we go to church a lot.
We like about a 90 minutes and then Sunday school and then you're good for the week.
Wow.
Did you read J.D. Vance?
Yeah, I did.
What did you think?
I thought.
For people that don't know, it's a very popular book that came out called Hillbilly Elegy that is about his experience growing up in West Virginia that a lot of people go to as to explain Trumpism to people who don't understand it.
Are you serious?
Southeastern Ohio.
It's fascinating.
It's a really good book.
How about getting in a car and driving outside of one of the major cities, which you preached about the entire election season? Like, these people live in.
But I just went to LA for the weekend, and I feel like I'm the Jane Goodall of Republican values, bringing in liberal America, trying to explain my people to the rest of the country. But it's actually a great book. I found it very fascinating.
It is a great book, and he did a great job. He's from Southeastern Ohio, which is all what I call the hillbilly firewall. Which stretches from western Pennsylvania all the way down really into Arkansas. It's sort of this L shape through the Appalachians out to the Ozarks. And when we have talked about poverty, when we have talked about displacedness, when we have talked about who is other in our society, not included in these are people who meet the same definition of WASP, right? We're talking about white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. These are supposed to be people who had privilege. These are supposed to be people who had opportunities. But the truth is that in a lot of places, that's not been the case, and that the depredations of mechanization, modernization, foreign competition, and other things.
And by the way, it's not just the hillbillies, it's also the rednecks in where I grew up. My hometown is a microcosm of Trump supporters.
You know, that you don't like the label.
You know what it is? It means something so different from my community. Growing up as obviously a black woman in the South as well, very negative connotation to the word redneck. And I understand what you're saying, and you guys are actually giving me a bit of a lesson on this.
We're kind of joking with each other.
And that's fine. It's fine. It's just, it's a racial slur.
Yeah, I remember you didn't.
Yeah.
So like my hometown, it was tobacco, gone. It was furniture manufacturing, gone. NAFTA, gone. And it was textiles, NAFTA, trade, gone. There is and so it's technology. It is, my parents put out of business by Walmart. It is globalization.
Did you see?
It is free and freer trade. And now the best that people can do is working in healthcare, maybe doing home health attendant for somebody.
I know I'm not supposed to, if I'm in the middle seat, I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but I want to ask, I wanted to ask both of you Business Channel humans this question. I saw Bill Gates had proposed a tax on automation because we know that more than 80% of the jobs lost in the past 40 years, I think it was to robots and mechanization, not to foreign trade. And these are these voters we're talking about, leaving aside all the whatever label, hoopies or hillbillies or whatever term you want to use, but for working class white America, for the heartland of the country, these job losses have hit them hard. Gates says trade barriers won't fix it. These things won't fix it. The people who use mechanization and robots ought to have to pay a tax.
I just don't know why you'd want to slow technology and the growth of it.
In this country. But you know what? No, that's a fallacy.
That is a fallacy.
Because politicians have been preaching for decades about we just need better education, we need better job training, and the funding of the education department has gone through the roof, and they haven't done jack all for those people. So I don't know how taxing the companies and then you collect the money. It depends on how you spend it.
But essentially, isn't that just a tariff on robotics? Isn't that just placing it? If we're going to place a tariff and make the cost of
it's de-incentivizing this type of thing, and
it's not even.
But it's also the inevitable.
It's not robots that's the problem. It's a lot. The jobs just disappeared for cheaper labor overseas. I mean, he's looking down the road to a bigger problem potentially. Well, how about not advocating for $15 minimum wage and robots won't take over and computers won't take over taking your order?
But eventually that will happen, though. Sure. I think that's the point, though, Dagen. I think a lot of people are, and understandably so, because this is not just isolated to middle class white America. This is working class. This is also in the black community in Harlem. They're talking about this.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere, and I'm conflicted, kind of as a millennial. I guess we're still millennials, right, Meghan?
Because
it's love of a nostalgic way to do well and provide for your families that I respect and understand. But the truth is, we're getting further from that economic model. That's the truth. And so how do we prepare culturally for what this new economic model is going to look like?
Read that Mark Zuckerberg globalism manifesto that he came up with. Some of that's frightening.
My favorite thing about Mark Zuckerberg is he thinks he could ever run for office. He can barely put 3 sentences together.
He can barely put his clothes on. The
idea that man could be president, you still have to be, charming.
Well, and no, he won't be it, Meghan. You're right. He will not be the face of the left. No.
Like Mark Cuban, Mark Zuckerberg, all these people. And I was asked this question over the weekend. I legitimately don't know the answer. If we're ever going to have a traditional politician as president again, like a politician who came up as governor, whatever.
I bet we will.
You bet we will. I certainly hope so. I still like.
But one thing I was going to say about Zuckerberg is he's a champion of globalism, and there was something in that manifesto that he took out, which it alludes to artificial intelligence, like going through your messages, trying to anticipate things like terror attacks. You know what? Without U.S. sovereignty, he wouldn't be in business. So suck it up, brother.
This is true. As to your question about whether we will have traditional politicians again, I think, of course, that the Kanyeism of the future is vastly overstated.
Because he's studying to be president right now.
He's getting ready.
Kanye?
It's going to be good.
I want Kanye to take care of Kanye.
I legitimately didn't he just have a breakdown?
Yeah. I'm serious.
Not throwing shade.
I'm with you, Meghan. Like self-care for that brother.
And you know what? There's a difference between Kanye and Trump. People who interact with Trump really like him on a one-to-one basis, and he generally is a very kind person when interacting with anybody. Kanye not. Kanye not a nice
I've never met him.
To the little people.
He was nice to me.
To the
You're
little
a beautiful woman.
I've never hung out with
nice to me
Kanye.
once.
I've never hung out with Kanye. But
we got to fix that, Chris.
I'm good. I feel pretty good about it. But we remember on President's Day that we have had all different kind of presidents, and we have come to an expectation based on a post-World War II norm about what presidents are like and what things are. If we look back, if we look over the arc of history, we see a lot of weird stuff that came in and went out, and people make too much of the immediate moment.
Oh, wow.
Chill.
We already hit 10 minutes. Thanks, guys. I mean, I'm just checking the Facebook Live. Thanks to everybody who logged on this holiday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.